What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
UFC is back with UFC on ESPN. The feature bout, Alistair Overeem versus Rozenstruik, this December 7th from Washington, D.C. Pretty exciting fight, I think. Pretty decently stacked card. I mean, it is an ESPN card, so, a little bit higher echelon than just the ESPN Plus cards or whatever they do with Fox now. But pretty decent. Rozenstruik coming in short notice. I forget who he's replacing. I think it was a JDS or something like that. Or maybe it was what's his face? Say here. Oh, Walt Harris was supposed to fight. Tragic news with his stepdaughter. Rest in peace. They found her remains, but at least she's no longer missing, I guess. Generally, I think when kids are missing for, I think there's like 48 hours or something like that, usually doesn't turn out well. But yeah, so he had to pull out, and Rozenstruik had a good fight and pretty recently. Looked great. Just it's always exciting when new heavyweight comes on the scene and starts making some waves. So this will definitely be a huge test for him against Alistair Overeem, who's had a long career, but still performing at a pretty consistent high level, I would say. Every once in a while he'll get knocked out, like what happened with Ngannou. But yeah, it should be a pretty fun heavyweight fight. That's the main event. Co-main is women's strawweight with Marina Rodriguez versus Cynthia Calvillo. Both of these fighters are pretty much unstoppable. Calvillo having a little bit. She had one loss against Esparza, which was crazy. And then some close decisions. But should be fun. She was highly touted coming in. She's got, badass attitude when it comes to just kind of that savage mentality of wanting to dominate. And so it should be a fun fight. The female fights are usually pretty exciting. Stefan Struve is back. There's no retirement for him up against Ben Rothwell, who's, he's another one of the older heavyweight fighters. I mean, Stefan Struve has been around forever, even though he's still, I would imagine, still like in his like early 30s, maybe. He's still pretty young, despite having a shit ton of fights. But that one should be fun. Aspen Ladd versus Yana Kunitskaya in a women's bantamweight. Then Cody Stamann versus Song Yadong. Rob Font versus Rick Simon. Thiago Alves versus Tim Means. Excited to see Tim Means back. It seems like it's been forever since Tim Means has fought, but he's got a fun style. Maybe he took a loss in his last one. I don't know. But that's at welterweight. Should be fun, though. Should be a fun card. I'm excited. It was a nice little break from UFC with everything going on with the holidays and everything. It was just kind of nice to not have to just open up my Saturdays just a little bit. Not that I do anything, but it's because if the fights are on, I'm going to watch them. And I'll try and watch the whole card just because I enjoy watching the fights. But yeah, that's like a big commitment watching all of those fights. So, it's nice. It's just a little bit relaxing. The pressure valve was released for a couple weeks. I was able to just kind of relax and just kind of soak it up. There has been some announcements, some bookings that have come through the pipeline finally. Of course, John Jones is taking on Reyes, which should be fun. We'll see if, Dominic Reyes can do anything against Jones. Conor McGregor is finally booked to fight again, and finally against Cowboy. It's been kind of off and on with them. Cowboy kind of doing the worst job ever to ask for a fight or call out a fight. It's like Cowboy has this really wants to be best friends with the guy and tends to do good if he has a friendly kind of rapport with his opponent. Conor likes to win fights before he even gets in the ring. He likes to talk mad shit. So far, it's been nothing but respect. Cowboy went over all of his stats, being most wins, most finishes, most bonus. Like he's got all kinds of stats where he's breaking records in the UFC. And Conor showed him respect. They're both fathers, newer fathers also. So I think there's a little bit relating in that point. So I don't know if Conor's going to turn up the heat at all, talking shit. I would imagine it would be his first opponent that he didn't talk shit to or about. And generally, Cowboy is the type of fighter that will get shook. He will not show up. He was losing his fight against Matt Brown up until the third round, the beginning of the third round. They finally hugged or shook hands, and then Cowboy just demolished Matt Brown. And he was losing that fight. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Conor, it could be an easy win for him if he just talks some shit and gets Cowboy flustered. Although Cowboy's coming in with a new mentality ever since he had a kid. So we'll see. It'll be interesting. I think it'll be a good fight. I would imagine Conor's going to win it. Cowboy can win it, but I don't think he's going to be able to take Conor's punching power. But we'll see. I mean, Conor hasn't looked great either. He definitely needs a win. So I'm excited for that fight. It's just a fun matchup. Two big names in the sport. I'm excited Cowboy's getting a big payday, getting his red panty night. So we'll see how that one plays out. Khabib versus Ferguson has been booked again for, I believe, the 5th time. Hopefully Khabib makes weight. Hopefully Tony Ferguson doesn't blow out his knee tripping on cables. He has very unorthodox training style, and I'm sure that had nothing to do with the fact that the tendons in his knee decided to completely give out after tripping. So we'll see. Fingers crossed that fight actually happens. If it does, I'm really hopeful for Ferguson. I think he's got a mentality and a fighting style that would lend itself well to competing against Khabib. I think stand-up, he's got Khabib completely beat. And he's really good on the ground. So we'll just see. And Khabib's very specific with how he likes to beat people up on the ground. So we'll see if he's able to control Ferguson. And then also Ngannou's trying to get a heavyweight fight. Doesn't want to have to wait for the title because the title fight is very much in delay with Stipe and his eye injury, getting poked in the eye all of the different times from DC. DC's really taken on the, aside from Greg Hardy, DC really took the eye poking that John Jones had done, which I don't think John Jones has even poked an eye since his tainted supplement days. DC's really taken on that mantle, and so is Greg Hardy, is just running with the eye poke king of the UFC. So Stipe is healing up. Ngannou wants to fight. Volkov is right up in the mix, up in the coming off a win also. I'm good to see it. I love watching Volkov. I love watching Ngannou. I can't wait to see Ngannou fight for the belt again. He's just a really exciting fighter to be in the ring, in the cage. So I'm looking forward to those fights. There's probably been other MMA news as well, but those are kind of the things that I've seen that really stood out to me. But yeah, looking forward to. And here's the thing: I'm not going to be home for December 7th, so I'm going to miss the fights. I'll definitely watch them, at least the main card. Maybe skip through some fights. I don't know. So there will be a recap next week, but it may not be a super in-depth recap. But that's it for this episode of The Ray Taylor Show. New episodes come out every single day. Subscribe on IGTV, YouTube, and everywhere else podcasts are found. Go buy my artwork over at inspireddisorder.com and save 25% when you use coupon code RTS. Follow me on social media at Ray Taylor. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!